The Gabba Test is definitely headed towards a very, very exciting finish. Chasing 328, India now 5 down, less than 50 runs to get in the final session. Currently, it's at 10 runs to get in 25 balls. The second new ball did do the trick for Australia. Pat Cummins trapped Cheteshwar Pujara LBW for 56, ending a 61-run stand with Rishabh Pant and then removed Mayank Agarwal. India have now, in fact, got about 318 runs in the second innings, just about 10 runs in 25 balls to win. It is Rishabh Pant who's holding fort, having scored 80 runs of 134 balls. Taking this across to Rahul Rawat for more. Rahul, this is nail-biting because we've just lost a wicket now. Shardul Thakur has entered, but Rishabh Pant is still very much there.
Well, absolutely, Akshita. At least for this team, never say never. What they did in Sydney and today, not a lot of us actually gave India a chance. 328 in one day on that deteriorating Brisbane pitch on the 5th day. The way Rishabh Pant has played today, the way Shubman Gill has played today, Cheteshwar Pujara has played today, and India are actually closing in on one of its most famous victories. We've won many matches before. We won on many overseas tour, but this victory will be remembered for ages to come. Not just this victory, the Sydney draw, the Melbourne Test, 36 all out. That's what the scoreline read. And Akshita, India have won. India are now have inched closer to that famous victory.
There's a lot of excitement, Rahul. Understandable that there are a few false alarms as well. Yes. That India's won, but not yet. Not yet. We have a few more runs to get.
Actually, I'm in the newsroom, and every time somebody scores a boundary, everybody is running around applauding, and that actually causes a bit of confusion. But I think we are almost there. We are almost there, closing in on that famous victory. How many of us gave this Indian team a chance when we were shot out for 36 in that Adelaide Test, and Virat Kohli, of course, returned home after on paternity leave. Then we lost so many players due to injuries, and then racial abuses from the crowd, and look what
game on. 201 for 3.
We've lost our connection with Rahul. We'll go across to him in just a bit, but we're tracking all the updates coming in. India needing just 6 runs. I don't want to jinx it, but looks safe to say that we're on the cusp of a historic victory here at the Gabba. Rishabh Pant holding fort, 84 runs that he scored so far at this point. A bit of a hiccup there when we lost another wicket. Shardul Thakur has just come in, but Rishabh Pant looking strong, holding the fort for India. Now at this point, we need just 5 runs in 22 balls to win. At this stage, if we are going down the track, we are currently look set for a massive victory. And this is in fact going to be historic because we're going to be defeating Australia in a ground that they haven't lost in 32 years. And this is a team that many really didn't place their bets on because of the fact that some of the biggest hitters, some of the best bowlers that we have were not a part of this team. This is a young team with not much of experience, but they're really showing their mettle with just sheer grit out there. Rahul Rawat is back with us. Rahul, it's coming down to a few runs now, just about 5 runs to go. I don't want to jump the gun, I don't want to jinx it, but I think we can safely say that the celebrations can begin.
Absolutely, Akshita, celebrations can begin. And this is going to be a it's going to be a great victory for this young Indian team that Virat Kohli, when he left or when he arrived on this tour of Australia, spoke about how many players did we lose because of injuries. We lost, almost the A team we lost due to injuries. Virat Kohli wasn't there. Then Rohit Sharma joined this team later, and unfortunately, as we speak, the Indian team has just lost another wicket, but hopefully that should not be a cause of alarm, because even though still 4 runs to get, but hopefully India should be there. And yesterday we were talking to the great Sunil Gavaskar, and he mentioned about that tight test that India played against Australia in 1986 in Chennai, and there also India was set an improbable target of 348 runs, and nobody gave India a chance. Eventually, that match ended in a tie. Both the teams were locked on the same score. I hope this doesn't happen this time around, and India eventually does manage to win this one.
This is, Rahul, this is nail-biting. You know, we've lost another wicket, unfortunately. Rishabh Pant is still there. He's the one holding the fort for Team India, but this is coming down to the wire and very, very nerve-wracking.
Absolutely, and you mentioned about Rishabh Pant, a young left-handed batsman who was fast-tracked into the Indian team after what he did in the Under-19 World Cup, and then the likes of Shubman Gill scored a fascinating 91. He was drafted into the team after your other openers failed, Prithvi Shaw, Mayank Agarwal, and then he goes on to score a 91. Rishabh Pant has throughout his career has received so much of flack for playing so irresponsibility, and look what he does today. Look the way he's been playing. This is a very unlike Rishabh Pant innings. He's played with great maturity and has taken India at the doorsteps of this victory, and this history will remember this victory if and I hope India does manage to win this one, because we're just proud about over there at the doorsteps of this famous win.
You know, we don't want to jinx it in any way, but 3 runs in 20 balls. We've lost a wicket, but we're still going to keep our hopes high. Rishabh Pant is still out there, batting very, very classily. Saini has just entered, Navdeep Saini, but all eyes, of course, focus is going to be on Rishabh Pant, and hopefully he'll be able to do this for India and make us cross the finishing line. Very, very close now, Rahul. Very close to this epic win, and this is going to be historic, monumental. Use any word you want, but this is going to be unlike any other win that we've sealed.
Well, absolutely. You'll run out of adjectives. This is what Test cricket is all about. You know, this series has revived Test cricket. Look at the interest that it has generated around the world, not just in India, but everybody throughout the world. Every cricket nation is talking about has his highs, and India has won this match. Akshita, India has finally won this match, and what a victory! And
we can hear the celebrations in the newsroom also, Rahul, but India has won. This is historic, this is huge, this is monumental. As I said, no amount of words can really sum this up for us. Unbelievable show. With a young team, with an inexperienced team, we've done the unbelievable. We've won not just the Gabba Test, which is historic in itself, we won the series now, Rahul.
Well, that's right, Akshita, and you know, we were born in the 80s, early 80s, watched cricket in the 90s, 2000. We've seen many famous victories, but this has to be right up there. Not just this victory, it has given ample belief to a lot of other youngsters. You know, it has given us new heroes. People were talking about, you know, we often used to talk about Sunil Gavaskar, we used to talk about Sachin Tendulkar, then Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. Look at the heroes that this team, this victory, this series has given to us, to India. And Rishabh Pant, a fabulous knock. The kind of criticism he has had to take all these years because of the way he used to score, because of the way he used to get out. And today he has played innings of a lifetime.
This is the perfect answer. The perfect answer to critics, Rahul, by Rishabh Pant. Someone who's come under so much flack. He's lifted this game on his shoulders. He's ensured this win for India.
And you know, Akshita, I'll tell you, I'll just recall one thing. India was shot out for 36 all out. India went on to win the Melbourne Test. And then right at the start of the Sydney Test, Ravi Shastri, the head coach of this Indian team, said that what Virat Kohli as captain had did in 2018-19 to win that tour of Australia 2-1. No other Indian captain, any other Indian captain will have to take years to emulate his feat. look what this Indian team under Ajinkya Rahane has achieved. It has given you heroes. Hanuma Vihari drew that, literally on one leg, drew that famous test in Sydney with Cheteshwar Pujara. And if you see this test match, Shubman Gill, 91.
Rahul, I'm just interrupting you. We're all smiles. We're all very, very excited. I want to take this across to our consulting editor, Boria Mazumdar. Boria, earlier I was trying to sum this up. Sum up this win, sum up this performance. Impossible. I can say it's historic, monumental, unbelievable. No amount of praise is really enough to sum up this particular win.
All I will say is greatest test match win, greatest test series win. Greatest ever, period. No team in the past, and we've had greatest teams in the past, will emulate this. Greatest test match win, and I say it again, greatest test series win ever in the history of Indian cricket. And that's what it is. No one can take anything away. 8 first team players missing. 8 first team players. 328 chase at the Gabba. Never happened before. Australia never lost there. Never. In 1988 was the last time. So you've not lost a test match there. 7 test matches on the trot they have won at the Gabba. Last day, Australia won the toss. How many more do you want to add to that? How many more layers? And then you add layer after layer after layer. Rishabh Pant, Shubman Gill. You know what? I mean, I can't just tell you. This is what stuff of legend is made of, Akshita, and we have seen legend unfold in front of our eyes.
I think we're all struggling to sum this up, Boria. We're all struggling to sum this up.
As I said to you, Akshita, greatest test match win ever, greatest test series win ever. And now you can say we are almost there for the finals of the World Test Championship. We are almost there. 2 wins against England and we are there. This has given this country, affected by COVID, as much happiness as vaccination has. Let me put it that way. It will bring a smile to a billion faces. It will give you hope and aspiration. It will give you belief and confidence. It will give you passion and commitment that India can do it. So can, this is the young India. Shubman Gill, Rishabh Pant, obviously Cheteshwar Pujara. This is the new India speaking out to the world that nothing is impossible. Don't dare us. You dare us in your backyard, we'll give it back to you. 2018 was not an aberration. Adelaide was not an aberration. Melbourne, Sydney was the norm, and Brisbane is the cherry on top. This is what this team is made of. You did crazy stuff. You did quarantine. You did everything in your world to try and make this difficult for us. What did we do? We went out there and performed. We went out there and make a statement in your backyard, making this the greatest test match win in history.
Yeah, and what comes to mind really, so many statements, Boria, about how Australia is going to sweep this series, how it's going to be a walk in the park for Australia. And what we see here is India, a depleted Indian team, actually defeating Australia in Gabba, if I'm not wrong, after 32 years.
Absolutely. 2018 first time, 2020-21 second time. I mean, come on, Ravi Shastri, it's your side. I mean, he's transformed it. He's got to better that introduction of his in that book. But just one by one, Ajinkya Rahane's match-defining 100 at Melbourne. Mohammad Siraj losing his father, the debut in Melbourne. Jasprit Bumrah, heroic there. Ravichandran Ashwin almost couldn't stand, heroic. Hanuma Vihari on one leg, as Rahul Rawat was telling you. Just one after one. And this test match, Bumrah gone, Ashwin gone. The bowling attack played 4 tests between them coming into this match. 9 players did not play as many as Nathan Lyon has. And there comes Ajinkya Rahane with his brigade. Australia gets off to a spectacular start. Everything going their way. Everything. By the way, Michael Clark writing to me, mate, this is the greatest ever win your team will ever have. Australian former captain right now. I was speaking to Virat Kohli day before, and I got to say this. And I said, we want you on day 5. How much I miss you. And he said, this team will do it. This was day before yesterday in the evening. I mean, come on. This is his side, and how proud will he be? This is legacy scripted, lore written, tales scripted, and young India speaking out. A Rishabh Pant, all debates put to rest. A Shubman Gill, a rock star is born. Akshita, it is your moment, a tale for our grandchildren that we witness this happen in front of our eyes.
It's so inspiring, Boria, this win. so very inspiring, because I want to remind our viewers who all were not there for this match. You didn't have Virat Kohli, you didn't have Mohammad Shami, Jasprit Bumrah, Ravichandran Ashwin wasn't there, Jadeja, Umesh Yadav, Hanuma Vihari, none of them were there for this match. You had people who had zero experience coming on, doing their bit, Boria, and ensuring this historic win, ensuring this greatest win, as you put it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shardul Thakur, one test. Navdeep Saini, one test. Mohammad Siraj, third test, leading the pack. FIFA for his father. You know, and what do you do to that? And of course, debut for Washington Sundar. Wasn't even in the squad till the night before when he was told he's part of the team, Washington Sundar. And look at that man's composure. Rishabh Pant, people writing him off at the drop of every catch, doubting his ability. 97 in Sydney, and this innings of what he's done today of 90 not out, every debate in the world addressed, every possible debate settled. This, as I said, India's greatest test match win. And think of Australia. They thought 4-0 is doable. They thought 36 all out is the norm. Battered, bruised, killed, dominated, decimated, whatever you want to call it. The whole 4-0 brigade led by former players. Everything was against India. Every possible thing was against India stacked up when they went to the MCG. And there comes Ajinkya Rahane with his brigade. Gets that 100, turns things around, wins the Boxing Day test. Sydney, all of us had written off. Believe me, I didn't believe Ravichandran Ashwin and Hanuma Vihari could stand up like that. And that is what is called braving pain, taking blows. 15 bruises for Cheteshwar Pujara, 15 badges of honor, 15 medals those are when he stands in front of the mirror tonight. And then Rishabh Pant and Shubman Gill. Mitchell Stark bowls him a bouncer, hooks for 6, bowls him outside off, cuts over third man for 4. Sachin Tendulkar's Perth 114 and Shubman Gill's 91 at the Gabba. Maybe the start of a cult in the history of Indian cricket. And Rishabh Pant, what do you say to him? You know, wickets falling, bowlers coming, second new ball, and here's new India falling down, ball goes for 4. How did he do it? How did he do it? News sprints will happen, television the debates will happen and discussions will happen, but one thing will never happen. I don't see a replication of this in the near future for any team in any part of the world. India, unbelievable.
You know, unbelievable that Boria, we were talking about 36 all out in the first test. From then to now, look at how things have changed completely. The Australians right now must be completely gobsmacked about how this happened.
Obviously. I mean, and this is their fortress. The Wacker and the Gabba are hallowed fortresses of Australian cricket. You've not lost there for 32 years, and you're playing a team which has 8 of its first team players missing. And what do? You come out there and win the toss, and you put up a 370 on the board. You think match done, game gone, chapter over, game closed. And there comes India. Everyone, Rohit Sharma, quarantine, 14 days, hard quarantine, comes out and gives those starts. Then Shubman Gill, all of these people. I mean, one by one, Ajinkya Rahane leading from the front with that 100. Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur, 186 for 6. We had written this team off that particular day and saying, oh, they've already achieved enough. What a moral victory this will be. We've fought. Those two guys said, sorry. We don't believe in fighting. No moral victory, real victory. Real victory, and that partnership of 123 staring against Australia, you know, right in their eyes. And today, 328 at the Gabba, Fortress Gabba they call it, and against an attack which, by the way, is the world's best attack. I still say Mitch Stark, Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood and Nathan Lyon. Between them, 1,000 wickets, Akshita. 1,000 wickets, and the world's #1 bowler in Pat Cummins. When you pitch that against your batting lineup, which is full of inexperience, then you sum it up. That's why I said the greatest ever win in the greatest ever series win. This is what stuff of legend is made of. We've had some spectacular wins in the past and some spectacular series wins in the past. This will rank as big as the World Cup, if not bigger than the World Cup, because it's an Australia victory in Australia twice in a row against the best Australian attack. There was Smith, there was Warner, unlike 18, and we did not have 8 of our boys. We still beat them. For the next few years, Australians keep hurling racist abuse. All we will say is, just shut up. We've done what we needed to do on the pitch.
We're never going to see a game quite like this one, maybe in years to come. Rahul Rawat is also with us. Rahul, you had a few questions also for Boria.
Well, absolutely. I was just listening to Boria and he summed it up perfectly. Everything that could go wrong for India right from the start went wrong. Indian players were questioned. There were all sorts of stories floating around in the Australian media that they've flouted the COVID protocols and then the racial abuses. So many players got injured. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. But these players wrote their own scripts to make this happen. As Boria
Apologies,
said,
Rahul, my apologies for interrupting, and I'll give you the opportunity to ask those questions to Boria. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also tweeted saying we're all overjoyed at the success of the Indian cricket team in Australia. Their remarkable energy and passion was visible throughout. So was their stellar intent, remarkable grit and determination. Congratulations to the team. Best wishes for your future endeavours. This sums up really how the entire nation is feeling right now about those men on your screens who are celebrating this historic win. Rahul, apologies for interrupting, but go ahead.
Well, absolutely. So what I was saying was obviously accolades will keep flowing in, will keep pouring in. But this victory, as Boria just mentioned, has to be one of the best. See, I'll raise my hand up, and to be very honest, I didn't expect this Indian team to win this series 2-1 when the tour started. When Virat Kohli left after India were bowled out for 36 all out, I didn't expect that India will go on to win the Melbourne Test. Then Sydney happened, and yesterday, after the end of day 4, I thought India could win. Why? Because the team had that belief, and they had given that belief to many of the cricket fans, many of the Indian cricket fans.
Yes.
But Boria,
Rahul, I'm so sorry again for interrupting. Rajdeep Sardesai is also with us. Rajdeep, you've been tweeting constantly. I've been tracking everything you had to say really on this test match. What do you make of all that's come out? I will go on and on. Historic, monumental, nothing like what we've seen before. But what is the biggest takeaway for you?
Thinking maybe defeat for India, draw, a win for India.
We're out of adjectives. This incredible win. I've been trying to think whether India has ever scored a more incredible win in its history. Almost of playing cricket, 90 years of cricket. And I think it ranks at the very top. You're playing in Brisbane, a place where Australia hasn't lost for 32. Your bowlers are injured, your main bowlers. Your batsman is at home. 3 debuts. In the final test of a series on the 5th day, chasing more than 300 runs against a terrific bowling attack. Guess what? One of the debutants, along with Rishabh Pant, takes you to victory. And every player contributes in their own way. You take 20 Australian wins, on to 300 runs. Absolutely. And the
Rajdeep, unfortunately, I have to step in here. We're having a bit of a problem with your connection. I'm going to reconnect and come back to you as soon as possible because this is a very, very exciting move. I want to focus on Rishabh Pant. Boria, a lot of criticism, a lot of flack that Rishabh Pant has faced. And look at how he's chosen to respond. He ensured that he stood there solid as a rock, come what may, and ensured that this win was possible for India at Gabba.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's a special player. Even after the last test match, I had a word with him and I congratulated him. And he's a special talent. He's an absolute special talent. No debate. There was so much talk about Rishabh Pant fluffing chances. But there comes Rishabh Pant, the new India. He is the new India. He embodies the new spirit of India, the indomitable India. He set it up the last game also. And had Hanuma Vihari did not, had that hamstring injury, who knows? We would have won that as well. Rajdeep was saying at the top of the pie. Of course, it's the top of the pie. He doesn't need to think. 1971 England, 1971 West Indies. Fast forward, 1976 West Indies, 406 for 4. 1986 England, 2-0. That was a big series win, but nothing compares to this. 1990s, if you really think, you did not have that big a series win of any sort. 2000s, under Saurav, that Headingley win, but we did not win the series. 2003 for Australia, under Saurav again, no series win, that test win. 2007 Perth, and then you fast forward to 2018, but that was an Australia India without Smith and Warner. So make no mistake, there is no debate. I'm telling you this, if you go through Indian cricket from 1932 to 2021, this is the greatest test series win of all time without debate. Make no mistake about it.
Who are, according to you, Boria, the heroes of Gabba from India?
Oh, you know, everyone. Don't single out. Don't single out. If you really go down that list, Rohit Sharma first innings, that important contribution to play out the new ball. Shubman Gill, outstanding in the second innings. Cheteshwar Pujara, 15 badges of honor this innings, battled, bruised, but kept on fighting. Ajinkya Rahane, leadership and that 100 in Melbourne. You know, Mayank Agarwal, crucial 30. Yes, it was a bad shot today, but crucial 30. And then if you go down, Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur, that man hero Rishabh Pant, and then that bowling attack. Whether it's Navdeep Saini bowling with a pain groin, whether it's Mohammad Siraj with that fifer, you don't single out. And the support staff. Ravi Shastri is always the talk of the town in terms of memes and jokes and whatever. Give the man his due. After Virat Kohli left to turn it around, he has turned this team around in the dressing room. He, Bharat, Sridhar, everybody, that entire support staff contributed. This is a team effort. Virat's team, I keep repeating, Virat's team, he set up this mindset of not giving it up. And now you are seeing what is unfolding in front of your eyes. I'm delighted that this team is doing what it is. Everyone. And come England, we will now beat England to play the finals of the World Test Championship. Maybe that will be the lore that Virat and his team would want in this year. 2021, Akshita, vaccination started. India winning at the Gabba and in Sydney, a year of hope.
Shubman Gill's innings and the fluency.
Yeah, so it's a good start, no doubt, to 2021. Rajdeep is back with us. Rajdeep, apologies earlier, I had to cut you off because of a bad connection. Who would have thought, Rajdeep, from the first test, 36 all out, to this historic win? Who would have thought this would be possible for India there?
This is why Test cricket is so special. For another
I think it reflects, and I think Boria made the point about the new Indian spirit. I think there is in the new team, it comes from being able to look at players in playing them in competitive like the it gives a sense, I think, self-belief. Where the first many of us who followed the game India is because we looked at the old India. The old India crumbled after the first test, being for 36, our lowest score in test. I think the new India is a team which is based around seriousness and self-belief. And we've seen that in the last 3 tests. You know, people come in for their first game like a Siraj. He test cricket got the likes of Rishabh Pant, who can, take on the best of bowlers and in conditions appears almost impossible to even win. So bad cricketers, a generation which created and built over time, where self-belief matters more than anything.
Yes.
Fearlessness is embodied Indian cricket team.
Rajdeep, we're going to have to reconnect with you, fix that connection with you. I just, in the meanwhile, want to play out a reaction that came in from Rishabh Pant, the man of the moment, one of really the men of the moment. But listen into what he said about his stellar innings. So, Boria, Rishabh Pant describing it as a dream series, and that it truly is for this team, for Rishabh Pant also. What lies ahead for him now? After this kind of a performance, this is something that he will remember for the rest of his life, a lifetime innings, what he played today.
What lies ahead? Superstardom. He was already a superstar. Now he's an absolute superstar, which nobody will doubt. No one in their right mind will doubt this guy. Tonight must be an Indian meal from that Brisbane restaurant. I'll get you that. We'll definitely have, I'll absolutely sort of speak to these guys. But what lies ahead for this guy? Very justly superstar. To be able to do what he has achieved, 97 in Sydney, 4th innings, 90 in Brisbane, winning the game. And think about it, he was supposed to bat 6. Team management promoted him. Team management promoted him one step up ahead of Mayank Agarwal, and look at what he does. So when you talk strategy, this will go down in history as one of the greatest moves by the Indian think tank. Ajinkya Rahane, Ravi Shastri and that support staff. For Rishabh Pant, history made. I just hope he doesn't have to look back. He doesn't have to think about his spot anymore. No one calls him fat. No one calls him whatever, because this man is simply special. This man has turned cricket around. Shubman Gill, the next big batting sensation from India. One can absolutely say that. Pin-up boy. If you really want a batsman of the future, Shubman Gill. Rishabh Pant, that's the new India speaking. Trust you me, not overall. Yesterday I had tweeted that people were saying 236 is the last that has been chased at the Gabba, but history is meant to be rewritten. We've seen history rewritten. History is to be scripted and rewritten, Akshita, because that's how history is made. And when we are seeing something like that, we are history, for we are part of this brigade. We are part of what we've just seen unfold in front of our eyes. And that's not a dream, that's reality. That's not real, that's real. And what we've just seen is dreams come true. Miracles do happen. And the backstage is effort, commitment, passion, determination, grit. And all of this combined is that never say die spirit, which embodies New India.
You know, what comes to my mind is that in the last test match, Boria, you had an overconfident Tim Payne sledging Ashwin, saying, can't wait to get you to the Gabba. And look what's happened now. And if you talk about the bowling attack and the kind of expectations from the Indian side, we're talking about a side that had, if you put the collective experience of our Indian bowlers, it was about 6 tests, versus an Australian bowling that had an experience of over 100 tests.
You said 6, right? How did you get 6? I thought 4. Navdeep Saini 2, Washi Sundar nothing, Shardul Thakur 1, and I thought 4. I think we had a collective experience of 4 test matches.
Okay.
That's what we had. So incredible. So you're right. I mean, you actually were sort of giving them a couple more graces, because it's unbelievable to think that you're going into a test match against Australia at the Gabba, deciding test match with a team that has 4 tests between them. But that's what it is, right, Akshita? No baggage, no fear, because they had overcome fear. There was no fear of failure. For me, if you really want to understand what defines this team, no fear of failure. Today they could have gone for the draw. They could have gone for the draw. They would still be moral victors. Trust you me, had they come out unscathed at the Gabba, you and me would still celebrate this team as perhaps the greatest team for the fight they had shown. No, they went for the win. Think of the strategy. Morning, Shubman Gill kept it going. Pujara held it together. Afternoon, Ajinkya Rahane, Shubman Gill kept it going. Sent Rishabh Pant because they knew there was a bit of an opening. Pujara once again held it together and made those counter punches. After Pujara got out, Pant went on the aggressive. And then Washington Sundar on his debut, that critical cameo that he played, and then Pant finishing it off. Think of the strategy. It was mathematical calculations at its absolute best, because they also had to encounter the second new ball and the world's greatest attack in Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood and Mitch Starc. To be able to do that, Nathan Lyon on a 5th-day wicket, I can't keep telling you how tough it is at the Gabba against an Australian team. We've watched cricket in Australia for what, about 25 years now? I've never seen an Indian team do this, believe me, and that includes teams of Saurabh, that includes Sachin and the rest of the boys, that includes this team. Because in 2018, there was no Smith, there was no Manas Labuschagne, and there was no David Warner. Labuschagne had not become the Labuschagne that he is now. So the Australian batting lineup was fragile. This Australian side had their full team, which played right through. No changes in the bowling attack. Every test match, Starc, Cummins, Hazlewood, Lyon. Think of the batting. All of them played except Warner. Warner came back in the last test match. And India, every test match we were losing 1, 2, 3 people. And this test match we lost everyone. We lost Jasprit Bumrah, we lost Ravi Ashwin, our 2 heroes, we lost Hanuman Vihari. And what happens? 3 young boys come in and make history. Washington Sundar, you know, unbelievable. This guy's 21. First class matches, some 20-odd first class games. What has he done? He has just scripted perhaps the greatest ever feat. And you know what, Akshita? I don't think Natarajan, Washi Sundar, Shardul Thakur will perhaps play together again in the foreseeable future. Think about it. Once Virat comes back, once Bumrah gets fit, Shami gets fit, Ishant gets fit, Umesh gets fit, Jaddu gets fit, this bunch that played together, I don't think will perhaps play again. Now think about them. They will not play a test match together again. They came together, this motley bunch of people, slaying this is actual David Goliath stuff. This is slaying Australia in their backyard with a bunch of people one day before the match. And this is almost a ritual. I keep wishing Ajinkya Rahane. And I did so. And I said, Ajju, you hardly have anyone. And he said, Boryada, whoever plays for India will put his hand up for India. That's what happened. Hats off to the captain, hats off to the coach, hats off to New India.
Absolutely. The leadership has been stellar. That also made a huge difference. And you mentioned Rahane. I want to play out exactly what the captain Ajinkya Rahane, said about this historic win. Saurav Ganguly's just tweeted, I'm just going to read out his reaction. Just a remarkable win to go to Australia and win a test series in this way will be remembered in the history of Indian cricket forever. He's also gone on to state the BCCI announces a 5 crore bonus for the team. The value of this win is beyond any number. Well done to every member of the touring party. So that is the message of congratulations that's coming from Saurav Ganguly. A moment of pride, really, this is for every Indian. We've all got broad smiles on our face today. We've all got reason to celebrate and rejoice. Let me take this back across to Rajdeep. Rajdeep, I was asking a question earlier to Boria about who are the standout heroes of Gabba, and it really can't be pinpointed to one person. What's been great and historic about this win is that almost every single player contributed, pulled his weight and ensured that this was possible.
He finishes on 89. But what he's just done there, the
absolutely. I mean, Rishabh Pant got the man of the match, and he was a true match winner in the end. The way he played, the fearlessness he showed. You needed that X factor which he has. He's a cricketer with the X factor. But every cricketer in his way contributed to this victory. Ajinkya Rahane, remarkable. He is a quiet man, but a quiet man with nerves of steel. He has a gentle smile on his face. He's not in your face with his aggression, but believe me, when you've traveled down that local from Dombivli every day of your life, when you were making your career as a young cricketer, coming to a town from the deep suburbs, you build a certain resilience. And I think the word to use for this Indian team is resilience. They defied the odds. They defied the odds on that last day in Sydney, and they defied the odds today. They faced some hostile fast bowling. They faced the difficulties of being in a bio bubble for several months, but they've never really complained. They've looked at this series as a challenge, and I think that's again the new India spirit that I was speaking about earlier, Akshita, and I think that has shone through. This is a team which is fearless, and I think that is why they were able to win this series. The old Indian teams, let's be honest, for all the talent they had, would have struggled perhaps if they'd been bowled out for 36 in the first test to actually make a comeback. But, all credit to them, and also to Ravi Shastri. In Mumbai, we used to refer to him as a Khadus cricketer. Khadus meaning defiant, someone who never gave up. Kapil Dev once told me that if you had the talent of Sachin Tendulkar and the temperament of Ravi Shastri, you well nigh had the perfect cricketer. And perhaps that's what we saw in this team. You had the talent of a Rishabh Pant, and you had the temperament of a Chiteshwar Pujara and an Ajinkya Rahane. It makes for a deadly combination. And I think all the pieces fell together in this match. I think Boria makes a great point that perhaps many of these players may never play again for India. Like a Natarajan may never play again for India. But even that one win that he's had means that he goes in cricket folklore. I'm just thinking 2001 defeating Australia at the Eden Gardens, perhaps the greatest win at home. 2021 defeating Australia at Brisbane, the greatest win overseas. And both achieved in this century, therefore suggesting the coming of age of Indian cricket. This is another coming of age moment for Indian cricket. Remarkable, the odds stacked against us, and yet winning in Australia. This is fantastic. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning to watch the cricket. I feared it would rain. I saw the cloudless skies. I wondered whether we were good enough to last 98 overs. Guess what? We were good enough to win. I am absolutely delighted. The best moment since the pandemic. We've had 12 terrible months where we've all been depressed for various reasons, and it's great to see the Indian cricket team bring a smile on the face of so many Indians. Kapil Dev did it in 1983 with the World Cup. 1971, Wadekar's team did it in West Indies and England. And now Ajinkya Rahane has written himself into cricket glory by leading this team into Australia. This is a fantastic moment for Indian cricket. One which really is a moment to celebrate, because we are truly, in a sense, now a cricketing superpower, not just in terms of money and the cash rewards that come in an IPL, but in terms of the talent that is produced in every corner of this country. I just want to say, only the other day, Kerala defeated Mumbai in a tournament, and a young boy scored, Azharuddin scored 137 in 55 balls. This is the new India. You know, they're coming from all over. The talent is pouring. This is a team B, team C of India, good enough to defeat Australia's best. Just imagine, could you have ever imagined that even 10 years ago, that India's second or almost a third string side would defeat the mighty Australians? That's the depth of talent in India today when it comes to cricket.
You know, forget 10 years ago, Rajdeep. Few test matches back, we were 36 all out, and at that point, so many immediately, you know, jumped to the gun saying that this is going to be a walk in the park for Australia. This is going to be a whitewash by Australia. It's going to be 4-0. Boria, you want to make a point?
Yeah, Rajdeep, my dear brother, never in your lifetime use India B, India C. No, because the moment you say India B, India C, I understand where you're coming from. These boys make the Indian team. They have been part of the team because they are good enough. To say India B, India C, third string side, no way. This is not India B, India C. This is India. So please, for God's sake, everyone, and I keep saying this on my shows every single day, this is not India B, India C, India D turning up. This is Indian team turning up, and we are good enough. That's the strength of our team. That's the bench strength of our team. That's the talent we have. We are not B or C grade players.
Okay, all right. Boria, Rajdeep, request both of you to stay with us. This is a moment we'll all cherish. We're all smiles. We have reason to rejoice amid a pandemic. I have to slip into a very, very short break. But look at those visuals on your screens. The Border-Gavaskar trophy is ours. We've reclaimed it with another historic win. Whatever challenge may be there, we've surpassed it, and every single person there on your screen deserves to celebrate tonight and is being hailed as a hero by all Indians. And nobody thought this would be possible. Look what they've managed to achieve. I'm going to leave you with those visuals of the celebrations as they hold on to the Border-Gavaskar trophy, coming back after a very, very short break. Stay with us.
There will be young men who were the stars today. Rishabh Pant, class of 2016, under 19. That was just 4 years ago. Washington Sundar, class of 2016. Shubman Gill, class of 2018, under 19. Prithvi Shaw's around there as well. No test matches for Washington Sundar. 2 for Mohammad Siraj. 1 for Navdeep Saini. None, virtually none for Shardul Thakur. Such a young side. They've gone to Brisbane, and for the first time in 32 years, they've told Australia, we are your equal. There will be a lot of emotion around there, and there should be, because this is young India telling everybody, you know what, we are a little bit different. And I can promise you, my generation, me, we were thinking, don't lose. This Indian team is going out there and saying win. Ajay Jadeja is alongside me, Glenn McGrath is alongside me.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.